Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to focus on shading. And shading and sketching is something that we're always going to revisit because it's really important to, no matter how many years you've been taking art classes, it's really good to just brush up on knowing your skills for shading and for sketching. So today I've picked this project. It's just in pencil, and I just want you to do 3 tones. A light, middle, and a dark. And you see I have a light bulb showing the different directions the light source is coming from. So this will be really good for whatever you draw, whether it's portraits or animals. It just adds another dimension. It adds the depth. Just like perspective does, adds the depth to a picture on a surface that's 2-dimensional. It makes it look like it's 3-dimensional, even though this paper is flat. All right, ready? Let's get started. Okay, kids, here we go. So the first thing I did was take a ruler and try to divide the paper into 6 somewhat equal sections. They are not exact. So you see I have a mark for 3.5 inches and 7.5 inches. So if you take your ruler and line it up, you make a mark. Oh, it's not even 3.5. Close enough. It's 3.5, and then you make a mark on the other side of the paper from here. And that way your line will go straight across and be parallel with the top line. And then I did the same thing at 7.5, and then you mark it over here 7.5. And then of course I did one in the middle, so this is just copy paper, 8.5 by 11. So I took 4.25, made a mark, and did the same up here. And then I took my Sharpie and just made these 6 boxes. Okay? The next thing to do is to draw some of these different shapes and forms. So I do a skinny oval, and you can do a second one and drop a line straight down like the edge of your paper for a cylinder shape. Now, really, you wouldn't see that. That gets erased. The next one I did is a cone. I'm using pencil, but as you can see in this picture, I really don't want these dark lines to show up, but just to show you the shape, I will erase them or lighten them later. On this side, I'm going to lighten this line. The next one is just a circle. Now, I used a regular pencil. Right now I have a graphite pencil. If I do 3 tones, just a dark, middle, and a light, and it's the same basic kind of principle or theory as simplifying shapes. So if I start out with simple shapes like we do the teddy bear and just circles, you simplify it and then you add details later. So the same thing goes for tone. So tone is about the lights and darks in the picture. So here would be my lighter tone, press harder, my middle tone, press even harder, and my darker tone. So I have a dark, a middle, and a light. And I want to do each object in just 3 tones. Later on, when you have a finished product, or when you have something that you're going to do and you want to add more tones, like maybe a darkest dark or a lightest light by erasing to make a highlight, you can add that. But just start out with 3 simple tones. So on the first one, the light source, I'm going to draw just a light bulb, is coming from over here. I'm going to lighten this line, and I can start out, you can use the side of your pencil, and the light's hitting here, so as it goes around in space, there's going to be a darker tone on this side. Now it's really good if you have access to a lamp and, you know, a cup or a saucer, just simple shaped objects in your house, and you turn a light on them, you will get it will be better to look at it from real life than from just this picture. So I have my dark tone. I'm going to do a little bit lighter. Same in here. Now the light tone, I can actually leave the color of the paper. Or I can make this light middle, let's see, light middle, dark. I can do even a darker one on the very edge. And this is just a graphite pencil. Preferably on a rounded object, you don't see the lines, so I take my finger and kind of blend it in a little bit. Now if the light's coming from over here, is there going to be a shadow here or here? It's called a cast shadow, and it's going to be going this way. Okay, I can soften the edges because as it goes away in space, it gets a little blurrier. I can add a little dark. The darkest dark is right under here. And there's a cylinder shape with 3 tones. Okay, the cone. The cone, I have the light source over here going this way. So now this will be the lighter side. Lighten that line. And I can do, this time I'm going to start out with the middle tone. If you can curve it, great, because that's actually how it goes around this cone shape. I can soften that edge. I can come back with the darkest darks. I'm going kind of fast, so I seem to be missing. Now I kind of made a line that I don't want. I want it to transition slowly from one shade to the next. So I'm trying to get rid of that line. And then the shadow for this object would be now on this side. So this is going to help a lot when you guys do characters, animals, to understand where the light source is coming from. It's not always coming from the side. Sometimes it's above, sometimes it's below. But just to make it simple, we're going to just go from the sides for now. Now remember I talked about adding the darkest dark or the lightest light. Well, the darkest dark is usually under here. And if I had charcoal, I would probably take my kneaded eraser and erase out a light line. And I can just get this to transition slowly. I'm hoping this shows up on the video because pencil is a little trickier. It's so soft. Okay, my circle or my sphere. Light source, this is going to be the light side, this is going to be the shaded side. And you see how you can do these kind of things with apples, oranges, round shaped things, balls. I'm just kind of going over with this middle tone. And then here I'm going to press a little harder and get this darker tone. Pressing lighter now, pressing harder now. Just with a regular school pencil will work. The shadow will be coming off this direction. A little darkest dark right underneath it. This works out really good to show in chalk pastels. I know a lot of you guys don't like using chalk pastels because they are messy, but I'm able to do a little more. If I wanted to show this light surface in art, a lot of artists do tricks and they might put a darker area around this lighter area to get this to show up. Okay. Now, I didn't show you these ones, but the bowl, and we'll talk later about looking at this bowl. We actually have a bird's eye view. We are above it a little bit and we see this opening. We know this is really a circle, but because we're looking at the side of it, and we'll go into that a little more later. So here's my bowl. My light source is over here. Going that way. And so because it's not getting inside of that as easily, that's the darker part. Over here on this surface, that's the darker part. I'll make a middle tone, a little bit darker. Cast shadow from the object is blocking the light source. Okay. So you see I've simplified it into dark middle light, dark middle light, dark middle light. I actually didn't use this much, I used the color of the paper. Okay, this is a clay pot. The light source is over here. I like my old-fashioned light bulb. So this is an oval, drop down, and this is curved just like that. And then it gets narrower, and this is curved just like that. Okay, I'm going to lighten the lines on this side. And so the light, this is covering the light from reaching in there. Just put a middle tone right now. And then this is the light, the lighter side, and then the darker side. A middle tone. Probably there's a shadow under this little lip of the plant. And now the darkest tone. Cast shadow. Darkest tone in there. Okay, and now you have things that look three-dimensional just on a flat piece of paper, and it's because of the shading. Okay, here's a vase. The opening we know is a circle, but we're looking at the side of it. What I do is drop a plumb line that's in the center. It helps me to not make the object crooked. And my lines are all over the place. Okay, I think it's mostly this line. Okay, let me do it again. So I made my oval, a smaller oval, and I'm looking to see that both sides are about equal on this line. And then here I'm just going to do this shape. So you see how I end up with the shape of a vase? Now my light source on this one is over here. So I'm going to lighten my lines over here. I don't need those interior lines. I don't need the plumb line. It does help to draw a little lighter because they erase better. Okay, so this is the lighter side, this being the darker side. If I use the side of my pencil more, it covers better instead of making a line. Okay, in here, this is light because the light's shining in there, but it's not hitting in here as well. So I'll make this my darkest dark, my darkest dark. And you probably figured out by now, where is the cast shadow going to be? You guys are right. I can hear you. I can hear you. It's over here. Voila! It's a masterpiece. This one was with a 2H pencil. This one is some kind of graphite, Derwent graphite pencil. So practice these. If you have the real dishes at home and get a light source, that would be great. But for now, if you want to just practice like this, that's fine. All right, that's a wrap, kiddos. I will see you next time.